All right, fam, welcome to Why Plexus live from the Man Cave. I'm your host, Luther Harris. Tonight, I'm here with my buddy, Michael McGrail, and my other buddy, Tyler Smith, Senior Silver Ambassador, who we'll talk to a little bit later tonight just to kind of see how his Plexus journey is going as he starting his business. So let me talk to you first about what Plexus is and who Plexus is. Plexus is a wellness company. It's a gut health wellness company. What we do is we provide high quality, sustainable, non-GMO, all natural supplements for people who are looking to improve their overall health. And what our products do is they improve your gut microbiome balance, and therefore helping reduce inflammation, helping balance your blood sugar, and just helping with your health overall. That our primary product is the Triplex Gut Health System. It can be found in this box right here. This is the Triplex system, and this system is so powerful. It's so powerful. And I'll tell you a little bit about my story and my journey with the Triplex. But yeah, that is who Plexus is in a nutshell. It is a company full of people who are for the people. It is a company that is for the people by the people, which means we love people. That's what we do. We love people well. We love people big, and we just want to see everyone live a happier, healthier life. And so speaking of that, I'm gonna tell you a little bit about my story. I started Plexus officially about 2 years ago. I'm actually coming up on my 2 year anniversary this May. Really excited about that. And yeah, I've always been a guy who has been fit. I've been fit all my life. I was a athlete from the time I could walk, all the way through high school. I played all the sports under the sun except for rugby, lacrosse, and hockey. So I played football, I played baseball, I played soccer, I ran track. I did all the things. So I've always been a guy who has been into fitness, into and always wanted to look good, right? But I I didn't always eat well, and that caught up with me fairly early in my life. I had a colonoscopy endoscopy done when I was 21 years of age. I was diagnosed with GERD at that time. I would have gas, bloating, you name it, in the stomach, like it was going on. I was having all types of issues. And how I thought I was going to combat that was with diet and exercise, because that's what they tell you, right? You can combat all of this with diet and exercise. And so that was the route that I took, for the the early 20s into my early 30s. And that route worked ish. I would still have these flare ups. I would still have these episodes where I have doubled over pain in my stomach, have to run to the bathroom. I was always gassy and bloated. It just at a certain point, eating right wasn't working. And so I'm like, I don't know what else I can do. I work out 5 to 6 days a week. I'm eating pretty good. I don't know why I'm always gassy, why I'm always bloating, why I'm always belching, why I keep having these episodes. And one day I was going into the gym to work out, and my friend Natalie looked at me and she was like, "Hey, have you ever tried Plexus?" And I had tried the products before, um, back when I was like 27, 28, because I was trying to win a challenge at the gym. And I took the products to kind of like push my results, and I had great results. But I decided that I didn't need gut health because I was a young, healthy, late 20s, dude. I looked good, I kind of felt good, but for the most part, like dudes, we just care about what we look like. You know what I mean? Like we just want to look good. So I looked good, so I really wasn't worried about it. But when I started this journey, I had gotten to where, yeah, I looked good, but I felt like trash most of the time. Um, like I said, I would belch after every time I ate. My wife thought it was disgusting, and I told her, "Well, boo boo, you married this and you stuck with it. I'm sorry. Love you, but um, that was just kind of, I had kind of um, just I was accepting that this was going to be my new way of life. And then enter Plexus. And within a month, the acid reflux subsided, the gas subsided, the bloating subsided, so many things subsided. I stopped belching altogether, which was what my wife noticed, and it that kind of sparked a fire in her, or interest in her, curiosity in her. And she was like, hey, so I'm noticing you aren't gassy, you aren't belching, you have more energy. Like, do you think these products are really working? And I was like, yeah, I do think they're really working. And she was like, well, do you mind if I try them? At the time, she's 8 months pregnant and dealing with acid reflux herself. And so she tries the product. I told her, it's just plants. Why not give it a shot? She starts the product and we've never looked back. So she was able to work out until she was 38 weeks pregnant because of Plexus. And it absolutely changed her recovery for the birth of our son. And so she was back ready to work out in 4 weeks. She waited the 6, but she was ready to work out. She was ready to go at 4 weeks, which we thought was really impressive. And so I tell you that to tell you this. I have always been fit, but I wasn't healthy. And to be honest with y'all, like, I didn't know that there was a difference in the two. I equated being fit with being healthy, and that's just simply not the case. I see people all the time. They're in the gym multiple days a week. They're doing all the right things. They're eating right, but they lack energy. They aren't sleeping well. All of these things that has to deal with a deeper problem, and it's in the gut. It's in the gut. And what Plexus does is help you with your gut motility, help you with your cellular metabolism, so that you can have sustained energy, so that you can feel your best, so that you can digest food the way that it's supposed to, so that we tell people all the time, it takes out the good and it uses the good and it flushes out the bad. And yeah, I've had so many wins with Plexus. I can't even count, one of which is no longer being lactose intolerant. And so if my family wants to go on an ice cream date, I can go on an ice cream date with them. Now, we don't do that because we don't crave sugar often, but when they go, I can go and I can actually enjoy a scoop of ice cream without having to worry about the consequences, which is a big deal for me. And so that is just a little bit of my story. I have my friend Michael is about to come on and just let you guys know about his awesome story. And so, Michael, if you want to go ahead and jump in here, I would greatly appreciate it.
Bro, I appreciate the opportunity. I'll tell you, I came upstairs to get into my office, and I'm like, God, it's been a long day. I'm tired. You get me fired up, man. I'm gonna start with, you still look good. I think we can all agree on that. You look good, bro. I'm happy for you. Um, Legit. This
Look, now I
company,
at least feel good. I feel the way I look. You know what I mean? That's the
and that's
beautiful
it,
part.
right? Like, show of hands here. Most all of us have our camera on. Like, has anybody ever just woken up or even gotten home from work and been like, God, there's got to be more than this? Like, I, something just isn't right, right? So my story began just over 8 years ago. Well, it probably began a whole lot longer than that, but I got to break it down for you guys because, man, I'm a bit of a mama's boy, and that kind of comes into this story here a little bit. So a little over 8 years ago, one of my buddies reached out, and he's like, "Hey, man, um, I got this new thing. It's been working really good for me. I think you should try it out." And I'm like, "All right, tell me what it is." And he's like, "Well, it helped me lose 93 pounds." And I'm looking in the mirror, and I'm like, "Bro, I weigh 160. Like, if I what's going on here?" Like, and he's like, "No, that's fair, but my energy has gotten a whole lot better, and I came off my medications." And so the reason he reached out to me, maybe whatever it was, he saw that I'd been napping on the couch a whole bunch. My background, I would get home from work. I worked from 7:30 in the morning till 5 o'clock in the evening as a Marine. I worked in an office by that point in my career. I'd been around the world seven or eight times by that point in time. I've been to like 25 countries. I had the opportunity to travel. And I'd started getting used to the diagnosis of you're just getting old at 35. And that's the things that happen when you're in the military. And so when he reached out, he'd been seeing these pictures of me taking a nap on the couch. And we put things on Facebook. We put them up for a few reasons. Maybe we want to share with family. Maybe we think they're funny. Maybe we want to inform friends. But for our family, it was funny how often I was taking naps at that point in my life. And while I look back and like, all right, the kids are playing on top of a couch cushion pile, and dad's at the bottom and his feet are sticking out like the Wicked Witch of, was it the West, the East? I don't know which one's which. But my feet are the only thing sticking out and the kids are climbing all over. And I look at it and I'm like, dang, that's a problem. And so by that point in time in my life, my son was 6, my daughter was 4. I had missed half their lives. And I took a chance. This guy I hadn't heard from in years reached out. And 3 days in, I didn't need a nap after work. And I was like, all right, a little bit weird. Maybe my coffee hit a little bit different today, whatever it may be. But I didn't need a nap. And that was 3 days in. I'm like, that's a little bit funny. So I went with it. And a week and a half, 2 weeks goes by. I'm coming home for lunch one day because it's only a few minutes from the office. And I can't find my coffee mug. And it's a coffee mug that my dad gave me. My dad's 87 years old. He worked in some really cool stuff way back in the day. And he gave me this like legit KGB, the Russian intelligence agency, KGB mug. It's a cool mug. I still have it. Thank God I didn't lose it, but I was really upset because I could not find it at the office. The reason I couldn't find it is because I left it at home. And I didn't notice until I would have been on my fourth cup of coffee for that day. So at that point in time, the skeptic in me, the guy who's like, yeah, this isn't going to work. I don't need to lose weight. There isn't anything. The doctors are telling me this is just my body breaking down because I'm 35 years old. I've been to Iraq 4 times. Like, I have these joint pains. I have degenerative disc disease, all these different things. There's no way this drink is actually helping me. And so I start looking at the ingredients. And there are only women in Plexus at this point in time, by the way, guys. I love the fact that we have this call. Like, there are only women having this conversation. I'm like, I gotta figure this out for me. And so I start looking, and around the time I start looking at all the scientific findings, my nightmares went away. And guys, I know like sometimes veterans, I don't know if you guys know anybody that served, if you served, whatever it may be. There are a lot of things that veterans only talk about in private. The dreams that we bring home are one of them. But I will tell you, like firefighters, EMS, police, other individuals with similar experience and similar lifestyles, they have the same things and they're tied to the gut. There are so many studies out there that tie them to the gut. I had a traumatic brain injury. I had a concussion. I had a 120 millimeter rocket, which is large, probably a 100-pound explosive device go off 75 feet on the other side of a berm from where I was. Thank God the berm was there. We wouldn't be having this conversation. But, it shook me up a little bit. And that actually probably killed bacteria in my digestive tract. I had to figure all this stuff out for myself. And when I did, oh my God, because by that point in time, I was waking up 5 minutes before my alarm in the morning. And while for most of us, that's like, all right, hit the snooze, hit the snooze, as many times as we can until we hit that danger close. And oh my God, I'm gonna be late for work. I was waking up before my alarm with energy and motivation to conquer the day. And my aches and pains started going away. I shared this on the other call, and it's not something that I had really shared publicly, but if you see me out in town, I've got a handicap license plate. I hit the gym 4 days a week and I set the example. And truthfully, it's because the inflammation in my body is under control. Because that's what this combination, the triplex, the combination that Luther held up and said, this one right here, it helped out with a lot of that stuff. Now I've stopped taking it a couple times, only by accident. I would never leave this company. I'm Plexus for life. But there have been a few times that I've been overseas and I ran out, or there was somebody that I knew like outright they needed it a little bit more than me, and we were in a place that I couldn't refill. And so I shared it with them. But I know the difference now in my body when I don't have a probiotic supplement. It's
Thanks.
really, really difficult to get this stuff into your body if you aren't supplementing right now. I geeked out to the science so much I became a health coach, by the way. And I actually studied at a formal institute for nutrition, and they told me everything I already knew. Um, this is where it's at, you guys. And so I share that when my buddy put Plexus in front of me, he gave me back time with my kids that I wouldn't have had. I don't think he understood how valuable that time was to me at that point. He I can look back, I want to say February 27th of 2016 is when I ordered my first order. And that stands out because it was January 8th, January 9th, excuse me, January 9th of 2016 is when my mother-in-law passed away. And it was 18 days after that that my mom passed away. Growing up in a small town and having a mom who held me close. I said I was a mama's boy. I really was a mama's boy. Having a mom that held me close and always reminded me that I was growing up too quick. I had 5 older sisters. Mom knew exactly how quick a child grows up. And when she passed away, the reality of life and how short and how precious it is was right there in front of us. And it was a tough time. And I'll tell you, like, I did not understand how valuable that time was with the kids until I had it back.
Mm.
And so I'll tell you, I still keep in touch. It was actually a couple that was working together. I still keep in touch with them. Um, I am so grateful for them because, tonight I sitting there watching a movie with my daughter. I've been to, I think, almost every single lacrosse game that my son has played in 5 years. After work, I have the energy to be there. I'll play catch with them. I'll do all the things. There is nothing like what we do. And I mention the doctors only to say, and this is not a slight, they're not educated in this stuff. 8 years ago, nobody knew what gut health was. This is the future of healthcare. And Plexus just happens to be the company that is paving that yellow brick road. So, Luther, I appreciate the chance to go on to jump on with you, man. Like I said, I think I'm a little bit tired. I'm probably getting rambling here, but you guys, this is where it's at. This is where it's at. And if it'll help me, if it'll take away my aches and pains and my headaches and the insomnia and the nightmares and all the other things, God, I can only imagine what it'll do for all of you. Thanks, man.
Absolutely. Thanks for sharing, dude. You made a statement right there at the end. You said, gut health is the future, right? 8 years ago, nobody knew what gut health was. Nobody was talking about gut health. And now Netflix has put out a documentary about gut health, right? And everybody's talking about, oh, have you seen the documentary about gut health? We like, bro, we've been there, bro. like y'all late. Y'all late. We been on the train. Like, go ahead, watch it, and then come holler. Let's talk about getting your gut your gut straight, right? And so yeah, thank you so much, Michael, for sharing your story. And so with that, we're gonna go ahead and invite in our next guest. He's a new senior silver ambassador, killing the game, has a big heart for helping people. Tyler, welcome on, man. Glad to have you.
Thanks for having me. I'm glad to be here.
Awesome. If you want to just go ahead and jump in just a little bit of your story, and then I'm gonna ask you some questions. And then we'll go from there.
Yeah, for sure. So I started back in January. Actually January 19th is when I started with Plexus. and it has completely changed the game for me. I'd been going back and forth to an naturopathic doctor and talking about different things and trying to figure out what was going on with my body. And just he would put me on a weight loss pill. I would gain weight. He would put me on something to balance my sugars. They would completely go out of whack. And within the first 2 weeks of me starting Plexus, I could feel the difference. And then like I said, I'm finishing up my 4th month here. My first 3 months, I've dropped over 30 pounds. I'm down over 5 inches off my chest, my hips, and my waist, all of them. I fit in pants I haven't fit in since college. Um, so all of that has been just an amazing blessing for me, and it just gives me the momentum to keep going.
Awesome, man. And so January, so you're pretty new, right? Pretty new.
Yep.
What do you think has been? You just kind of you just told us some of your wins. What has been like the win that you weren't expecting that you got?
I would say honestly, the energy. I was expecting a little bit, but that's completely changed. I don't reach for coffee anymore. I used to be
Mm.
coffee. I used to do night shifts a couple years back, and it was coffee mixed with hot chocolate just to get something to keep me awake, or it was just one or the other. And I haven't had a single cup of coffee since probably middle or end of January, beginning of February. And
Oh
it's
wow,
just
man.
been so nice. Um, that's been the best thing ever. More mental clarity, more less brain fog, more focus. So I'm actually able to be present with my wife and daughter. Uh, so just that's my whys. Here for the
Yeah.
family.
Yes, sir. Man, I tell you, one of the things I struggle with seeing all the time is, dudes, we tend to go out and and women do it too, but like guys, we tend to go out and we'll grind and grind and grind and grind and we'll beat ourselves up because it's our job to provide, it's our job to protect, it's our job to go out and do and make it happen, right? And I think we do it at the expense of ourselves at times, not realizing that our provision will never replace our presence. You know what I mean? And so when we take the time to really focus on being present, right? And invest in presence, it will change the whole trajectory for our family, right? Because if you go out and let's say you making 6 figures, let's say you making millions of dollars, but you're away from home all the time, and your wife is by herself and she's trying to raise the kids and all these like the home needs both parents, specifically dad in there, man. Like the statistics show that. Like it's statistically the dual parent home, the nuclear family, specifically families where dads are present, man. Like you can't replace that. And so I love the fact that you're making the investment in yourself so that you can be present for your daughter, man. You are the one that's going to show her what love looks like. You know what I mean? Like that, daddy's the one that pours that in. It's how you treat your wife, right? Like I remember when my energy was fading, you risk becoming roommates. You know what I mean? Living life side by side instead of living life together. And man, I just love the fact that you just talked about how that energy allowed you to be present with your wife and be present with your daughter and your baby girls watching how dad treats mom. And you know what I'm saying? Like that's super awesome. So senior silver ambassador, which means you just started in January. You've already helped over 9 people. You told me this week you're really close to gold. Something that's cool about Tyler, y'all, is that he already has level 1s and level 2s, which means he has people signed up under him who are loving the products and they are also sharing the products, which tells me that Tyler is one heck of a leader. So tell us a little bit about your business journey and what that has done for you and your family.
Yeah, I mean, so initially when I first started, I didn't want to share the business. I just wanted to um, get on the products, get a better me. Like I said, within those first 2 weeks, I started seeing so much from them. I started to want to share.
Mm.
And I'm just thankful for a couple of different of my uplines, they actually reached out and said, "Hey, you realize that doing the business side of stuff is going to be so much more beneficial for you. There's that growth to go in there." And I really needed that financial relief to come in and just kind of help supplement. So, um, it was giving me that extra momentum that I needed, just knowing the different steps and the different levels and what we could make on the business side of stuff. And so, um, yeah, it got me going. I started reaching out to my level ones, and then they started feeling the same thing. They started taking off. Uh, so, yeah.
That's awesome, man. I'll tell you, when we started the Plexus journey, my wife and I had made a decision to step out of education. We were both teachers. We were both in public education. So we had full-time, both had 2 full-time salaries. My wife, when I stepped out of education, I stepped into a role with a consulting company. And my wife stepped into a part-time role, very part-time role with our church preschool, right? And so we took a $40,000 pay cut right before we started this journey. And so when she decided that she was going to start the products, we knew we had to share. And we started sharing fairly quickly as well. And so, dude, I understand that financial pressure, and now I can tell you without a shadow of a doubt, it has changed our lives. This is the first year that since we made that decision where we don't have to worry about a summer paycheck because Plexus is covering it. Plexus is more than covering it. Okay. And that like it's a massive blessing, man. My daughter is into gymnastics. Plexus has helped us to be able to fund her gymnastics. My convention is in Vegas this year. My brother lives in Vegas. I've never been able to go and visit him. Plexus paid for that trip. I am flying myself, my wife, my 2 kids, my mom, and my dad to Vegas for convention because of Plexus. This business has absolutely changed our lives, dude, and I cannot wait to see what it's gonna do for you. You know, Michael, I know you have an awesome story as well about the financial benefits of Plexus. And I try to tell people all the time, if I'm taking the products, the way that this business model is structured, if I'm taking the products and I know how much the products are helping me, it only makes sense to share. And here's why. It's a win-win. It's one of the only business models out there where it's a win-win. It doesn't cost you any extra money, right? You take the products that you are going to take because they work and they make you feel good. You share those products and you help someone else feel healthy, and you relieve some burden on your some financial burden for you and your family, right? It's feel free to jump here anytime, Michael, but it just makes sense. It just makes sense. And so yeah, if you are a person that is on the fence about the products, if you are a person that is on the fence about the opportunity, I'm telling you, take the products, give it time. It's not a magic pill. We're not making any promises, right? But with time, I'm telling you, Plexus works. If you do it, it works for those who work it, right? And so if you're on the fence about the products, get with a person tonight and figure out what system will work for you, depending on what all you got going on. We have several different options. Get with that person, take a chance, right? Take a chance, make the investment in yourself so you can show up better for your family tonight. You know, I talked about it, Tyler talked about it, Michael talked about it. Being present, right? Be present with your wife, be present with your husband, be present with your kids, like just being present. Be we were on a coaching call, and this girl said you have to create capacity for relationships, right? Mm-hmm. And that's what this allows us to do, create capacity for relationships, because I have the energy, and that energy is just overflowing into how I interact with other people. And so if you're on the fence about the products, do that. If you're on the fence about the business, let me tell you, there's no other business model out here that's going to afford the type of flexibility that Plexus affords. I'm sorry. Like I've seen a lot of different things, but for me to be able to share with others while getting healthy, helping others get healthy, right? be able to create some margin for my family, and then be able to help other people create margin for their families. Like, it doesn't get any better than that. It's the most rewarding thing. That I like. It was the thing that we were looking for, that we didn't know we were looking for. It was a thing in our life that we needed, that we didn't know we needed, and we're so thankful for it. But again, if you're on this call tonight, and I'm gonna go ahead and just speak it into existence. Welcome to the Plexus family. I know we'll see you. We'll see you on the other side. But with that, if does anyone have any questions? I actually want to open it up a little bit tonight. I'll pause there.
I'll jump in the absence of questions.
Yeah.
And Kurt, I see that you unmuted. I promise I'll only take a second, man. I definitely want to hear. Tyler, bro, for you to have level 2s with you, this design loves company.
Yep.
If you've ever gone to the gym, if you've ever made a workout plan on your own, and you go and you get about week 2.5, week 3, and you're like, ooh, like the lawn is looking a little bit long today, and I didn't get to bed at 10:30. It was 10:35 when I went to bed. I don't know if I'm gonna make the gym today. Look, you need a Plexus partner, just like you need a gym partner. And when you have a couple, friends, I can't explain it, but I'll tell you, I've got a buddy that started a month and a half ago. We served together during the invasion of Iraq. This is way back, almost in the 1900s. And he and I have been talking. He lost like 13 pounds his first month. And he's like, oh, this is phenomenal. What if I bring a couple of friends? And I'm like, well, one, you're going to get paid. So he made like $400 his first month by sharing, because he brought a couple of friends along. And all of them are losing like 8, 10, 12 pounds in their first month. And he's like, yeah, this is simple. And so with that, Luther, do you mind? This is your Zoom. Can I say a bad word? If you don't mind. If y'all are offended, please don't be offended. I'm talking to this guy's wife because he's just like, oh yeah, things are good. And I'm seeing pictures of him. And like, literally, it looks like a different person. Luther had the chance to meet him last week. He sent me an updated picture. He looks fit, man. So he isn't telling me anything. And I'm like, put your wife on the phone. And she gets on the phone and I'm like, tell me what you were noticing about Tom right now. And she's like, oh, he isn't a worthless dick bag anymore. And I'm like, oh, okay. Is he nearby? Can I hear? She's like, oh yeah, he's right here next to me. Do you want to talk to him? And I'm like, no, I didn't know. Like, I wanted to make sure he's okay. And she's like, he can play with the kids. He can help me around the house. He goes out with us now. And he hasn't complained about his back anymore. And he's able to sleep at night too. Present, engaged with the family, being a role model for his kids. He's a fire chief too. He's bringing in his entire fire department is with him. And they're all losing weight. Like, that's going to be expensive because they're going to need new gear because they actually fit in the gear now. But for a profession that loses a lot of people because of heart attacks, that's phenomenal. And by the way, he's just this part-time guy. I'll tell you, an extra $500,000 a month. I had 3 men in particular, 3 men alone today reach out and say, hey man, I need at least $1,000 extra a month. It's super easy to look at the comp plan and see what it takes to make that work here. So yep. Kurt, I cut you off, man. That's my thought.
Hey, no, it's so good, man. I really don't like to talk too much, so appreciate y'all giving me the opportunity. First of all, I would like to say, Jasmine, now you know what it feels like to be one of us when we're on the phone with nothing but women, and it's like 50, 11 women on the phone, and it's like 2 dudes on here, first and foremost. So I want to say welcome to the club, that part. Second of all, I wanted to say, coming from a military background ourselves, Michael, I want to shout out everything you guys got going on. Anybody that's not on here, I just joined recently myself, and there's no reason why every man should not be leading the charge for his family, for his loved ones, for his brethren, for his nephews, for his whomever, to be pushing them to get on here to lead the charge to have a healthy situation for their family. I'm a happy, proud husband and a wife. How about say wife? I'm tripping. And the father of 2 beautiful daughters and a son. And my wife got on here like you guys talked about. She lost about 8 to 10 pounds within the first 3 weeks. It didn't even take a month within the first 3 weeks. And I was like, okay. And I wasn't doing this thing just to, I'm not with the rah-rah, and then they all the women, they full on. But I get it. And so I see people stepping up. I see Luther showing up every week. I see Michael showing up every week. I see Tyler now showing up. And I'm like, listen, if everybody else can put forth the best effort, men, Miss Jasmine, no disrespect, men, we show up, get with the person on this call. You guys are nowhere near connected to me. I don't care. If you need somebody to talk to somebody, reach down. Hey, we got to plug in and stay linked, because this is the next generation we the one we're looking after. We ain't looking at this current generation. We got to stay healthy to make it to that generation to make sure they straight. So I didn't want to, Luther, I didn't want to come in and really take over y'all's or, say nothing, but I don't like to talk. So if I figured I better say something, and Michael, that was a clutch word. I ain't never heard that one before, that combination. So that caught me off guard. But get with the person to put you on and get with your upline and make sure you know what time it is for sure. That's all I got.
Man, Kurt, like, that's my first time hearing you speak, bro. And I know you don't like talking, but just know I'm gonna be reaching out. Just know. Anyway, I think Kurt summed it up, man. Kurt summed it up. So, dudes, get it together. Get it together, man. We got to be leading the charge. If we are healthy, our families will be healthy. And that's all that matters. That's all that matters. And so with that, I hope you guys, Miss Jasmine, thanks for hanging out with us tonight. Everybody else, Tyler, go ahead. You don't have to type it in the chat. Tyler, go ahead and speak up, man. Get your final word in.
I didn't want to steal your thunder, man.
No, you good.
One biggest thing that I've had out of the feedback from my team and stuff, and what I've appreciated as well, is you don't have to be somebody that you're not when you're sharing this. Just be yourself. Like, there's nobody that you have to be better than just you. Put it out there, be yourself, and the people will come to you for who you are, not for the products.
That's so good. That's so good. See, look, this is why we let everybody talk, because y'all got way better things to say than me. So with that, I hope y'all have a good night. Get with the person that invited you tonight, and let them pour into you and figure out how you can get your life on the right track with these Plexus products and this business. So y'all, I hope y'all have a good night, and we'll see y'all on the next one.